welcome to this continuing final first look exploring session looking at Grim, the Collier of Croydon, otherwise known as the Devil and his Dame. It's a game of two halves. It's got a plotline, the Devil and his Dame, which we're not fans of. I mean, who knows? It may resolve itself to be a very clever, engaging satire with a very clear moral tone that we can engage with today, but we suggest that it's probably just a terrible cluster. And go from there. However, the Grim, the Collier of Croydon is a plotline that so far we've been really enjoying, but there's still time for that to turn into a terrible, appalling blob. So we're shall we say, divided on this place so far. But we're going to see how it goes from Act 3 to the end of the text. We've been reading at a reasonable rate today, but we will have plenty of time to stop and start and chat about it. Reading today, Akercock is...
Briony Sparrow, actor in Lincolnshire.
Reading Clinton, Joan and Pluto today is...
Lynn, Freitas, teacher, Northwestern United States.
Reading Lacy, Minos and Grim is...
Hi, my name's Elizabeth Amisu and I'm an author based in Romford.
Reading Forrest and Dunstan today is...
Alan, based in Suffolk.
Reading Belphegor and Clack today is...
Hi, I'm Eric. Have you tried updating your computer today?
Reading Musgrave, Nan, Shorthose and Morgan is...
Rachael, actor on the East Coast.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I will be, at the moment, reading stage directions. I'll also leap in to read Marian and Honorea unless I can figure out an additional dumbling plan to hand them to somebody else, but I don't think I can. So we're going to go from Act 3, Scene 1. We're in the A plot, the Devil and his Dame plot at the moment. We have various people married to people they don't like. We have people disguised as demons, or demons disguised as humans. That's the way around to get it. Yes, get that right. And one of them is indeed disguised as Robin Goodfellow. This is Akercock with his head broken in Act 3, Scene 1.
Devil himself take all such dames for me. Zoons, I'd rather be in hell than here. Nay, let him be his own man if he list. Robin means not to stay to be used thus. The very first day in her angry spleen her nimble hand began to greet my ears with such unkind salutes as I ne'er felt. And since that time there hath not passed an hour wherein she hath not either railed upon me or laid her anger's load upon my limbs. Even now, for no occasion in the world, but as it pleased her ladyship to take it, she gat me up a staff and breaks my head. But I'll no longer serve so cursed a dame. I'll run as far first as my legs will bear me. What shall I do? The hell I dare not go, until my master's 12 months be expired, and here to stay with Mistress Marian, better to be so long in purgatory. Now, farewell, master, but shrewd dame, fare ill. I'll leave you, though the devil is with you still.
Exit Robin, enter Marian alone, chafing. My heart still pants within. I am so chafed the rascal slayed my man, that sneaking rogue, had like to come undone us all for ever. My cousin Musgrave is with Honorea, set in an arbour in the summer garden, and he, forsooth, must needs go in for herbs, and told me further that his master bade him. But I laid hold upon my yonker's pate, and made the blood run down about his ears. I trow he shall ask me leave ere he go. Now is my cousin master of his love, the lady at one time revenged and pleased. So speed they all that marry maids perforce. At which point enter her husband, Belphegor. But here my husband comes.
What, dame, alone?
Yes, sir, this once, for want of company.
Why, where's my lady and my cousin Musgrave?
You may go look for them both for aught I know.
What, are you angry, dame?
Yea, so it seems.
What is the cause, I prithee?
Why, would you know?
That I might eat it, if it lay in me.
Oh, but it belongs not to your trade.
You know not that.
I know you love to prate, and so I leave you, exit Marian.
Well, go thy way. Oft I've raked how to get a wife, yet never found her like. Why, this it is to marry with a shrew. Yet if it be as I presume it is, there's but one thing offends both her and me. And I'm glad if that be it offends her. 'Tis so, no doubt, I read it in her brow. Lord Lacy shall with all my heart enjoy fair Honorea. Marian is mine. Who, though she be a shrew, she is honest. Yet so is not Honorea, for even now, walking within my garden all alone, she came with Musgrave, stealing closely by, and follows him that seeks to fly from her. I spied this all unseen and left them there. But sure my dame hath some conceit thereof, and therefore is thus angry, honest soul. Well, I'll straight hence unto my lord of kin, and warn him watch his wife from these close meetings. Well, Marian, thou livest free from blame. Let ladies go, thou art the devil's dame.
Exit Belphegor, still disguised as human form as Castigliano. Act 3, Scene 2. Interesting stage direction, this. I don't know if this has been prefigured anywhere. Enter the devil, like Musgrave, with Honorea.
No, lady. Let thy modest, virtuous life be always joined with thy comely shape. For lust eclipseth nature's ornament.
Young heady boy, thinkest thou shalt recall thy long-made love, which thou so oft hast sworn, making my maiden thoughts to dote on thee?
With patience hear me, and if what I say shall jump with reason, then you'll pardon me. The time hath been when my soul's liberty vowed servitude unto that heavenly face, which both had equal liberty of choice. But since the holy bond of marriage hath left me single, you a wedded wife, let me not be the third unlawfully to do Earl Lacy so foul injury. But now at last...
I would that last might be thy last, thou monster of all men.
Hear me with patience.
Cease, I'll hear no more. 'Tis my affection and not reason speaks. Then, Musgrave, turn the hardness of thy heart, and now at last incline thy love to mine.
Nay, now I see thou wilt not be reclaimed. Go and bestow this hot love on the Earl. Let not these loose affects thus scandalize your fair report. Go home, and learn to live as chaste as Lucrece, madame. So I leave you.
She pulleth him back. Oh, stay a little while, and hear my tongue speak my heart's words, which cannot choose but tell thee I hate the Earl, only because I love thee. Exit Musgrave. Musgrave, return here. Honorea speaks. Disdain hath left him wings to fly from me. Sweet love, lend me thy wings to overtake him, for I can stay him with kind dalliance. But this is but the blindness of my fancy. Recall thyself, let not thy honour bleed with the foul wounds of infamy and shame. My proper home shall call me home again, where my dear lord bewails as much as I. Is too much love to her that loves him not. Let none thereafter fix her maiden love too firm on any, lest she feel with me Musgrave's revolt and his inconstancy. Exit Honorea. Okay. That stage direction's very confusing. Enter the devil as like Musgrave. Is that a thing, or is that something just weird? Is that actually real? What's that? I don't recall any of that turning up.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, generally we've got hilarious comedy action here of the Akercock and Marian and Belphegor doing sort of shrewish turns at one another and complaining about each other, and it's so funny. Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, not funny at all, basically.
No.
But I mean, presumably if there is any form of logic in this plot anyway, the devil has turned up to try and work out how Castellano's getting on.
Mm.
Maybe.
Well,
But,
it just seems like
it wasn't prefigured that I can recall.
No, and if you didn't read that, how would you know? I mean, there's nothing to denote that on stage at all.
No.
Lynn.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you would think the devil would be encouraging her to do evil and to sin and to cheat on her husband, and he's saying, no, now that you're married, I cannot be your lover anymore. So it really is very weird.
I'm going to just say that's wrong and move on. I'm just going to, for the moment, unless the text later on gives us some clues, because I think it's just Musgrave, because she wants Musgrave, and that's sort of confusing. I don't know. I'm confused
right, and it
about
would
that.
reflect well on his character if he, showed the decency to refuse to have an affair with another man's wife. So that's that sort of structurally fit. So
very confused. Any thoughts, Eric?
Unless it's like reverse psychology or something, but I don't think it is. I don't know. It's interesting, sort of. Yeah, this section is a bit, or well, a lot misogynistic. Like, women, how can you handle them anymore? I don't know. I don't know what I would do with this.
Yeah, we've had this conversation. Yes, Briony, are you waving or just hand? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just confused about. So Castellano's the demon that's married to this woman. So what's Akercock?
Akercock's his servant. He's also a demon.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's had to deal with Marian as his mistress of the household, and she's given him a whack around the head, which he clearly deserves, and therefore
and of course, female on male violence is always a laugh raiser.
Yeah. Elizabeth.
Yeah, I got a taste of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with all these demons walking around as people, and I was just wondering, like, how good of actors are these demons? Because I'd expect them to be like, ha 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 ha, to be, I don't know, almost full of histrionics. Is that what they call it? Because they're from hell, but they seem to be quite suave and smooth in this.
Well, they are lacking devilish powers. They don't have it. They are reduced to human form. They can't cheat, basically. So they aren't able to do the big stuff, because they are ultimately stuck in the human world for a year and a day.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't think they can go too far, because otherwise, they could get killed. Things could happen to them, and in a sense, they're not really doing anything demony at all, apart from just interacting with humans, and which is a bit of a waste. Actually, I feel you could do something with that. Someone in the future might. Eric.
What I found weird was like when Belphegor, that's the name, Castellano Belphegor, whatever, came on stage and went, what's wrong, Marian? I'm married to you. You should tell me. And it's like sort of trying to almost genuinely express interest. And it sounds like he's kind of walking into a trap by himself. Maybe that's just me. Like, when someone is annoyed on stage, just generally do not ask. Or I don't know, maybe in real life. Anyway, but yeah, it just kind of seems like he's setting himself up for something that is going to go quite wrong.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to move on. We got another chunky scene to go. Act 3, Scene 3. Enter Forrest with Marian.
Just I'll remember thee and straight return. But here's the doctor.
Where, Forrest, farewell. I would not have him see me for the world.
Why, he's not here. Well, now I see you fear him.
Marry, beshrew thee for thy false alarm. I fear him? No, I neither fear nor love him.
But where's my lady? She's gone home before, and I must follow after. Marian, farewell.
I shall expect your coming.
Presently. And nearest thou, Marian? It shall be so.
And he whispers in her ear. Oh, Lord, sir, you are wed, I warrant you. We'll laugh, be merry, and it may be, kiss. But if you look for more, you may aim amiss.
Go to. We'll talk of this anon.
And exit Forrest. Well, go thy way, for the true-heartedest man that liveth, and as full as honesty, and yet as wanton as a pretty lamb. He'll come again, for he have loved me long, and so have many more besides himself. But as I was coy and proud, as maids are wont, meaning to match beyond my mean estate, yet I have favoured youths and youthful sports, although I durst not venture on the main. But now it will not be so soon espied, maids cannot, but a wife a fault may hide. Enter Nan. What, Nan?
Anon, forsooth.
Come hither, maid. Here, take my keys and fetch the galley-pot. Bring a fair napkin and some fruit dishes. Dispatch, and make all ready presently. Miles Forrest will come straight to drink with me.
I will, forsooth.
Exit Nan. Why am I young but to enjoy my years? Why am I fair but that I should be loved? And what should I be loved and not love others? Tush, she is a fool that her affection smothers. 'Twas not for love I was the doctor's wife, nor did he love me when he first was mine. Tush, tush, this wife is but an idle name. I purpose now to try another game. Art thou returned so soon? Oh, 'tis well done, as Nan enters with the banquet. And hearest thou, Nan, when Forrest shall return, if any happen to inquire for me, whether it be Captain Clinton or Ralph Harvey, call presently and say thy master's come. I'll send for Forrest o'er the garden pale.
I will, forsooth.
Meantime, stay thou and make our banquet ready. I'll to my closet and be here again before Miles Forrest shall come visit me. Exit Marian.
I wonder what my mistress is about. Somewhat she would not have my master know, whate'er it be. 'Tis nothing unto me. She's my good mistress, and I'll keep her counsel. I have oft seen her kiss behind his back, and laugh and toy, when he did little think it. What a winking eye the wanton hath to cozen him, even when he looks upon her. But what have I to do with what she doth? I'll taste her junkets since I am alone. That which is good for them cannot hurt me. Ay, Mary, this is sweet. A cup of wine will not be hurtful for digestion.
She drinks. Enter Belphegor.
I would I had been wiser once today. I went on purpose to my Lord of Kent to give him some good counsel for his wife. And he, poor heart, no sooner heard my news, but turns me up his whites and full slat down. There I was fain to rub and chafe his veins, and much ado we had to get him live. But for all that he is extremely sick, and I'm come in all the haste I may for cordials to keep the earl alive. But how now? What a banquet! What means this?
Alas, my master is come home himself. Mistress! Mistress!
Peace,
My
you
master
young
has
strumpet,
come home.
or else... Peace, you young strumpet, or I'll stop your speech.
And he stops her mouth.
Come hither, maid. Tell me, and tell me true. What means this banquet? What's your mistress doing? Why call'st thou out when, as thou sawest me coming? Tell me, or else I'll hang thee by the heels and whip thee naked. Come on, what's the matter?
Forsooth, I cannot tell.
Can you not tell? Come on, I'll make you tell me.
Master, I will tell you.
Then say on.
Nothing, in truth, forsooth, but that she means to have a gentleman come drink with her.
What gentleman?
Forsooth, 'tis Master Forrest, as I think.
Forrest. Nay, then I know how the game goeth. Whoever loseth, I'm sure to win by their great kindness, though it be but the horns.
Enter Forrest at one door, Marian at another.
But here comes he and she. Come hither, maid. Upon my life, give not a word or look that she may know aught of my being here. Stand still and do whatever she bids thee do. Go, get thee gone. But if thou dost betray me, I'll cut thy throat. Look to it, for I will do it. I'll stand here close to see the end of this, and see what rakes she keeps when I'm abroad.
And Belphegor conceals himself. "'Tis kindly done, Miles, to return so soon, and so I take it, Nan, is our banquet ready? Welcome, my love. I see you'll keep your word."
'Twere better for you both he had not kept it.
Yea, Mariana, else I were unworthy. I did but bring my lady to the door, and there I left her full of melancholy and discontented.
Why, 'twas kindly done. Come, sit down, and let us laugh a while. Maid, fill some wine.
Alas, my breech makes buttons, and so would theirs, knew they as much as I. He may change the sweet meats, and put purging comfits in the dishes.
Here's to my lady and my cousin Musgrave.
I pray remember gentle Master Doctor, and good old Lacy too, among the rest.
Oh, sir, we find you kind. We thank you for it. The time may come when we may cry you quit.
Master, shall I steal you a cup of wine?
Away, you baggage. Hold your peace, you wretch.
I'd rather walk into your orchard and see your gallery so much commended, to view the workmanship he brought from Spain, wherein's described the banquet of the gods.
Aye, there's one piece exceeding lively done, where Mars and Venus lie within a net, enclosed by Vulcan, and he's looking on.
Better and better yet, 'twill mend anon.
Another of Diana with her nymphs, bathing their naked bodies in the streams, where fond Actaeon, for his eyes' offence, is turned into a heart-shaped, horns and all, and this the doctor hangs right o'er his bed.
Those horns may fall and light upon his head.
And if they do, worse luck, what remedy?
Nay, Marian, we'll not leave these sights unseen, and then we'll see your orchard and your fruit, for now there hang queen apples on the trees, and one of them is worth a score of these.
Well, you shall see them, lest you lose your longing, and exeunt Marian and Forrest.
Nay, if you fall a longing for green fruit, childbearing is not far off, I'm sure. Why, this is excellent. I feel the buds. My head groweth hard. My horns will shortly spring. Now, who may lead the cuckold's dance but I, that I'm become the headsman of the parish? Oh, this it is to have an honest wife, of whom so much I boasted once today. Come hither, minx. You know your mistress' mind. You keep secret all her villainies. Tell me, you were best. Where was this plot devised? How did these villains know I was abroad?
Indeed, forsooth, I know not when it was. My mistress called me from my work of late, and bade me lay a napkin, so I did, and made this banquet ready. But in truth, I knew not what she did intend to do.
No, you did not watch against I came, to give her warning to dispatch her knaves. You cried not out when you saw me come. All this is nothing, but I'll trounce you all.
In truth, good master.
And enter Marian and Forrest again.
Peace, stay, they come. Whimper not, and you do, I'll use you worse. Behold that wicked strumpet with that knave. Oh, that I had a pistol for their sakes, that one shot I might dispatch them both. But I must stand close yet and see the rest.
He conceals himself. How likest thou, Miles, my orchard and my house?
Well art thou seated to thy heart's content. A pleasant orchard and a house well furnished. There's nothing wants, but in the gallery the painter shows his art exceedingly.
Yet is there one thing goeth beyond all these, contented life that giveth the heart his ease, and that I want. One knocketh at the door.
Sweet love, adieu.
Exit Forrest. Farewell, sweetheart. Who is that at the door? Enter Clinton.
Friend,
Come near. What, Captain, is it you?
even I, fair Marian, watching carefully the blessed step of opportunity.
Good, good. How fortune gluts me with excess. Still they that have enough shall meet with more.
But where's the doctor?
Ministering abroad, physic to some sick patients he retains.
Let him abroad. I'll minister at home. Such physic shall content my Marian.
Oh, monstrous. Now the world must see my shame. His head must bear whatever likes my dame.
I have no malady requires a cure.
Why then must I assume a sick man's part, and all my sickness lieth at my heart? 'Tis the heart burning that torments me so.
There is no cure for fire but to be quenched.
Thou hast prescribed a sovereign remedy.
Oh, who the devil made her a physician?
Let's not obscure what love doth manifest, nor let a stranger's bed make thee seem strange to him that ever loved and honoured thee.
A captain made a captive by loose love and gadding fancy fight were monstrous shame that Cupid's bow should blemish Mars's name. Take up thy arms, recall thy drooping thoughts, and lead thy troops into the spacious fields.
She counsels others well, if she would take it.
Thou counsellest the blind to lead the blind. Can I lead them that cannot guide myself? Thou, Marian, must release my captive heart.
With all my heart I grant thee free release.
Thou art obscure too much, but tell me, love, shall I obtain my long-desired love?
Captain, there is yet somewhat in my mind thou wouldst reveal, but wantest utterance. Thou better knowest to affront the braving foe than plead love-suits.
I grant 'tis even so. Extremity of passions still are dumb. No tongue can tell love's chief perfections. Persuade thyself, my love-sick thoughts are thine. Thou only mayest these drooping thoughts refine.
Since at my hands thou seekest a remedy, I'll ease thy grief and cure thy malady. No drug the doctor hath shall be too dear, his antidote shall fly to do thee good. Come in, and let thy eye make choice for thee, that thou mayest know how dear thou art to me. Exeunt Clinton and Marian.
Is this obedience? Now the devil go with them. Yet I dare not. Oh, she's mankind grown. Miserable men that must live so, in that damned strumpet author of this woe.
Enter Clinton and Marian. They were quick.
But peace, be still, they come. Oh, shameless shame. Well may the world call thee the devil's dame.
Captain, thy skill hath pleased me so well that I have vowed my service to Bologna.
Service to Bologna. Turned stark ruffian, shall be called Cavaliero Marian.
And I will train thee up in feats of arms, and teach thee all the orders of the field, that whilst we, like Mars and Venus, jest, the doctor's head may get a gallant crest.
I can no longer linger my disgrace, nor hide my shame from their detested sight. How now, thou whore, dishonor to my bed, disdain to womanhood, shame of thy sex, insatiate monster, corrosive of my soul, what makes this captain revelling in my house? My house, nay, in my bed, you'll prove a soldier. Follow Bologna. Turn to martialist, I'll try if thou hast learned to ward my blows.
Why, how now, man, is this your madding mouth? What, sir, will you forbid me in good sort to entertain my friends?
Your friends, you whore! They are no friends of mine, nor come they here. Clinton, avaunt. My house isn't for no such.
Alas, good sir, are you grown so suspicious, thus on no proofs to nourish jealousy? I cannot kiss a man, but you'll be angry. In spite of you, or whoso else saith nay, my friends are welcome as they come this way. If you mislike it, mend it as you may. What, do you think to pin up Marian, as you were wont to do your Spanish girls? No, sir, I'll be half mistress of myself. The other half is yours, if you deserve it.
What madness moved thee be displeased with me, that always used thee with so kind regard? Did I not, at thy first arrival here, conduct thee to the Earl of London's house?
Did I not, being unsolicited, bestow my first pure maiden love on thee?
Did not I grace thee there in all the court, and bear thee out against the daring abbot?
Did I not forsake many young gallant courtiers, enamoured with thy aged gravity, who now being weary of me, wouldst disgrace me?
If there be any conscience left on earth, how can I but believe these protestations?
Have I not always been thy nearest friend?
Have I not always been thy dearest wife?
How much will all the world in this condemn thee?
At first I little feared what now I find, and grieve too late.
Content thee, gentle dame. The nature of our countrymen is such that if we see another kiss our wives, we cannot brook it. But I will be pleased. For will I nil I, so methinks I must. Gentle captain, be you not offended. I was too hot at first, but now repented. I prithee, gentle dame, forgive me this, and drown all jealousy in this sweet kiss.
This shows your wisdom. On, I'll follow you.
Well, Doctor, henceforth never reckon it scorn at my sweet Clinton's hands to take the horn. Exeunt. Okay, this feels on firmer ground as a situation, in isolation, as a setup of cuckolding with the husband overwatching. There's still some... The husband is a bit too violent for my taste, especially with Nan. But as a situation of them basically walking off, talking sexual innuendos and doing the nasty in another room, it kind of works, actually. If it wasn't for the overall situation of what the A plot is doing, cuckolding a demon is kind of fine. So I've been very against the A plot so far, but actually this cuckolding sequence functions largely. I don't know if people agree or disagree. Elizabeth and Lynn.
I really like the line, "I cannot kiss a man, but you'll be angry." That really made me laugh, and I thought, okay, this is definitely a comedy here. And then I was thinking about the demons, in terms of like their disguises. Are they? Would you think that they would be like different colours? Because you always see like demons like painted green or painted red. And I was just wondering like what everybody thought about this, like the sort of stage design and the costuming of the demons.
Yeah, I quite like the idea that the demons are actually really obviously demons, but nobody else notices. I think that would actually be quite fun. Especially as, this is a demon being cuckolded, so as a demon, he would already have horns, and he spends that time talking about feeling the horns growing on his head. And it's the fact that he doesn't go off and stop them having. I'm inferring that they're having it off when they go every time they go off stage, and come back somewhat dishevelled. But there's a sort of interesting literalness to that, which actually is sort of underplayed in this. I feel the demon should be playing up their demonness more. I like that idea. Lynn, then Alan, then Rachael.
Yeah, so cuckolding a demon is certainly more acceptable than cuckolding a man who hasn't really earned it in any way. But I don't know if like having it off with your one boyfriend in the forest, oh yes, I love you, I love you, I love you, you're the one I love, and then having it off with her other boyfriend somewhere in the house 5 minutes later, oh yes, you're the one that I love. I'm not sure that's fine.
It seems like a perfectly fine plot point. I mean, I'm not questioning her morals. It feels to me that Marian has the right. She was coerced by and large into this marriage. I feel she's got the agency to do whatever she likes. But that's opinions may vary. We'll see what the room thinks. Alan, then Rachael.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that came up in that speech was a point that was made very, very briefly early on, I think, in Act 2. The disguise that what's his name, Belphegor has got on is actually that of a doctor, which I think we managed to miss out of the praise at the beginning. But that, because I was going through and thinking, where the hell's this doctor? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I vaguely remember this from when we were reading previously.
Yes, because that he gained the original marriage contract on the principle that he managed to give someone speech, the power of speech last time.
Right.
So yeah, he is on Earth he is a learned doctor, which falls into all sorts of interesting cuckolding traditions as well. Rachael.
I mean, like, isn't he wearing a hat or something that's covering his horns? So, I mean, you could have the thing of he has the initial set of horns, and from the cuckolding, he gets another pair. And just every time, it's more and more headbands of horns.
Yeah, the horns get bigger across the scene. I like that. Yeah, I think that's an option. Eric.
Well, alternatively, they just get longer. Or, yeah, depending on how you do it. Yeah, what I found interesting is that he doesn't get, like, he gets jealous, he has this explosion of anger, and then it's like, oh, it's fine. Just kind of, I don't know if he genuinely believes her, or it's just kind of like, yeah, just, and him, and, Clinton and the pair of them, or if they all just go off and sort of have a threesome or something, I don't know.
I don't know how old the tradition is, but there is a convention of this kind of talking down the person who suspects you of cuckolding them, of by just sort of this aggressive logic of because there is a thing about the English being very kissy on first meeting, which turns up a lot in plays. But yeah, Clinton and Marian working in tandem together are going, but we've been like this, and haven't we been like this, and and he's sort of just beaten back with this wall of logic that is throwing at him. I believe a Low did this about 3 times every episode, every time anyone was caught in flagrante. So yeah, this is a sort of isolated scene. I'm starting to feel like, right, we've got some straw to put in bricks here, whereas last session I was going, we got nothing in this plotline. Yeah, I like having some straw. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to go to Act 4, Scene 1, and we're going back to the Grimm plotline, but there's a crossover because Robin Goodfellow, or otherwise the demon Akercock, is going to cross over to the B-plot, just to confuse us all. So enter Robin in a suit of leather close to his body, his face and hands coloured russet colour, with a flail.
The doctor's self would scarce know Robin now. Cursed Marian may go seek another man, for I intend to dwell no longer with her, since that the bastinado drove me thence. These silken girls are all too fine for me. My master shall report of those in hell, whilst I go range amongst the country maids, to see if homespun lasses milder be than my cursed dame and Lacy's wanton wife. Thus, therefore will I live betwixt 2 shapes, when as I list in this transformed disguise, I'll fright the country people as they pass, and sometimes turn me to some other form, and so delude them with fantastic shows. But woe betide the silly dairy maids, for I shall fleet their cream bowls night by night, and slice the bacon flitches as they hang. Well, here in Croydon will I first begin to frolic it among the country lobs. This day, they say, is called Holyrood Day, and all the youth are now a nutting gone. Here are a crew of yonkers in this wood, well sorted, for each lad hath got his lass. Marry, indeed, there is a tricksy girl that 3 or 4 would fain be doing with, but that a wily priest among the rest intends to bear her sheer away from all. The miller and my brother Grimm the collier appointed here to scuffle for her love. I am on Grimm's side, for long time ago the devil called the collier like to like.
Like will to like, the devil to the collier. That may or may not be a callback. It kind of is. Yes. So Akercock or Robin's going back to basics, going to do Robin Goodfellow kind of things from the stories. Enter Grimm, Clack, Parson, Shorthose, Joan with a bag of nuts.
But here the miller and the collier come, with Parson Makebait and their tricksy girl.
Parson, persuade me no more. I come. Jug, to your custody. Jug, hold the nut bag.
Nay, I will give you nuts to crack.
Crack in thy throat and holster too.
Neighbours, I wish you both agree. Let me be judge, be ruled by me.
Master Parson, remember what Puerile saith, ne accessoris ad considio, etc. I tell you, I found this written in the bottom of one of my empty sacks. Never persuade men that be inexecrable. I have vowed it, and I will perform it. The quarrel is great, and I have taken it upon my own shoulders.
Aye, that thou shalt, ere I have done, for I will lay it on it, faith.
If you lay it in, I must bear it out. This is all. If you strike, I must stand to anything. although it be the biggest blow that you can lay upon me.
Ye both have oftentimes sworn that ye love me. Let me overrule you in this angry mood. Neighbors and old acquaintances and fall out.
Why, that is because thou wilt not let them fall in.
I say, my heart bleedeth when thou speakest, and therefore do not provoke me. Yet, Miller, as I am monstrous angry, so I have a wonderful great mind to be appeased. Let's think what harm cometh by this same fighting. If we should hurt one another, how can we help it? Again, Clack, do but here forswear Joan's company, and I'll be thine instead of her, to use in all your businesses from Croydon to London. Yours, Gilbert Grim, the chief collier for the King's Majesty's own mouth.
Oh, Grim, do I smell you? I'll make you forswear her before we two part, and therefore come on to this gear. Collier, I will lay on load, and when it is done, let who will take it off again.
Yet once more hear me speak. Leave off for shame, if not for love, and let not others laugh to see your follies. Let me overrule you.
I let them fight, I care not. I meantime away with Joan will fly, and whilst they two are at it here, we two will sport ourselves elsewhere.
There's a stone priest, he loveth a wench indeed. He careth not, though both of them do bleed. But Robin Goodfellow will conjure you, and mar your match, and bang you soundly too. I like this country girl's condition well. She's faithful, and a lover but to one. Robin stands here to right both Grim and her.
Master Parson, look you to my love. Miller, here I stand, with my heart and my hand, in sweet Jug's right, with thee to fight.
Come, let us to it then.
And they fight. Robin beateth the miller with a flail and felleth him.
Now, Miller, dusty pole, I'll clap-a-claw your jobber-knoll.
Come, Jug, let's leave these senseless blocks, giving each other blows and knocks.
I love my Grim too well to leave him so.
You shall not choose. Come, let's away.
And Shorthose pulleth Joan after him. Robin beateth the priest with his flail.
Nay then, sir priest, I'll make you stay.
Nay, this is nothing, Grim, will not part so. I thought I'd borne it off with my backsword word, and I received it upon my bare costard.
And they fight again.
What, Miller, are you up again? Nay then, my flail shall never lin, until I force one of us twain. Betake him to his heels amain.
Robin beats the miller again.
Hold thy hands, Grim, thou hast murdered me.
Thou liest. It is in mine own offence I do it. Get thee gone then. I had rather have thy room than thy company.
Harry, with all my heart. Oh, the collier playeth the devil with me.
No, it's the devil playeth the collier with thee.
My bones are sore. I prithee, Joan, let's quickly from this place be gone. Nay, come away. I love thee so. Without thee I will never go.
What, priest, still at your lechery?
And Robin beats the priest.
I'll thrash you for your knavery. If any ask who beat thee so, tell them 'twas Robin Goodfellow.
And Shorthose runneth away.
Oh, Miller, art thou gone? I am glad of it. I smelt my own infirmity every stroke I struck at him. Now, Joan, I dare boldly swear thou art my own, for I have won thee in the plain field. Now, Master Parson shall even strike it up. 2 or 3 words of his mouth will make her gamma grim all the days of her life after.
Here is 2 well-favoured slaves. Grim and I may curse all good faces and not hurt our own.
What, my love, how dost thou?
Even as a conqueror may do. Jug, for thy sake, I have made the miller a poor cripple all the days of his life, good for nothing else but to be carried into the spittle house.
Aye, there is one lie, for thou didst never hurt him.
I am glad thou scapest, my love, and wast not hurt.
Who? I hurt? Joan, thou knowest me not yet. Thou mayst do better hereafter. I gave him 5 mortal wounds the first 5 strokes I made at him.
There are 5 lies clapped into one, for brevity's sake.
And presently, upon the 5th blow, I made a dangerous thrust at him, and violently overthrew him, horse and foot, and there he lay.
Nay, there you lie. The collier is excellent to be companion to the devil himself.
But where's Master Parson?
He was well banged, and knew not who did it, and would have had me gone away with him. Here lieth his nut bag, and the miller's too. They had no leisure to take them away.
The better for us, Joan. There is good cracking work. It will increase household stuff. Come, let's after the parson. We will comfort him, and he shall couple us. I'll have Pounceby, the painter, score upon our painted cloth at home all the whole story of our going a nutting this Holyrood day, and he shall paint me up triumphing over the miller.
Exeunt Grim and Joan, leaving Akercock.
So let the collier now go boast at home how he hath beat the miller from his love. I like this modest country maid so well that I believe I must report in hell better of women than my master can. Well, till my time's expired, I'll keep this quarter, and night by night attend their merry meetings.
Exit Robin. So yeah, the miller, the one of the potential suitors for Joan, has been vanquished in on-stage comedy fighty action involving nuts and flails and stuff. And yeah, it's good, solid knockabout stuff, and say back to basics, robbing Goodfellow stuff. It's like I've had enough of doing all this this other plotline lark. I'm going to go back to doing mad japes and merry pranks. That's what I'm up to. That's my bag. And yeah, a much better use of the supernatural characters. Much happier with that. Alan.
Yeah, I can see that stage that would work at breakneck speed, and you wouldn't even notice the somewhat limp dialogue in it. It would be all physical action, you know, 5-minute comedy fight sequence.
Well, I'd say I think it's got a really nice bounce to it. I mean, it's as subtle as a brick, but it's it knows exactly what it's doing, and it's playing into that sort of Robin Hood tradition as well. Of, you know, what's the point of this story? It's to have a fight. That's literally what this scene is. It's a fight scene. That's all it's there for, is to watch the miller getting beaten and taken down, and the Grim gets to take credit for it as well, you know, even though it's all the other guy,
and the priest as well,
yes, and yeah, the you know, and the priest possibly still has more to come, you see, so we'll see where that goes. Lynn.
Yeah, and there is perhaps a kind of moral point when Akercock says, well, I'm going to report better of women than my master will, because this Joan is, you know, she's an honest country maid. She picks one guy and sticks with him. So maybe that's kind of what the play is doing. It's sort of in praise of ordinary people who are kind of more honest and forthright than the upper classes. I don't know.
Yeah, is the B plot trying in a desperate rearguard action to save the A plot? Because I'm now starting to look at the A plot going, okay, right, I have a real issue with the Honorea side of the A-plot, but I don't have so much of a problem with the Marian side of the A-plot. Could we do something about that and tidy that up and make... Is this actually salvageable as a total piece? I you know, with some severe adjustment, I'm starting to think that might actually be doable. But we haven't got to the end yet, so we could still go horribly wrong. Eric?
Yeah, it's also interesting. So I'm trying to work out who the priest is and who the parson is, because I mean who the miller is, because Clack is the miller, or is he the parson?
No, Shorthose is the parson, so you're right. Clack is the miller.
Okay, yeah, and this whole thing about nut bags is just like, so yeah, it just anyway, immature me, yeah, but I like the idea that they're like fighting over Joan like she's a bag of nuts. Is that the point of this, or is that just like another dick joke?
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, yes. I don't think it is as serious as it potentially could be. I think it is more for setup, but it possibly also is a nut joke thing. I'm not sure actually on that front. Briony.
I'm trying to think back. My memory's shocking, so I may stand corrected. But have we had like a priest full on beaten on stage like this, and how shocking would that be to an audience of the time?
We've definitely had violence towards priests. only the other evening we'd had 2 taken out by snipers. So, admittedly not in a comedy, though it was quite a funny scene because it was sort of mid-flow, bang, bang. Going back about 60, 70 years, there is a play called The Pardoner and the Friar, where a parson gets beaten in the middle of a scuffle and a fight, and that's supposed to be sort of shocking. It's also supposed to be comedic at the same time. And we have had others say, in more serious plays, violence against priests. But I'm not sure about the comedy thing. I think others' memories in the room will see. Lynn, then Alan, then Eric, then we will move on.
Well, there's like the Pope getting beat up in Faust.
Oh, yes, that's true.
So, yeah.
And, of course, it's set in the distant past of the Catholic priests, so it wouldn't matter. In that sense, the Protestants wouldn't mind.
Right, and I think it's supposed to be hilarious. That even though Faust is a tragedy, but that's definitely a comic sequence where.
Alan.
Yeah, I'm sure we've had dodgy priests getting their comeuppance in the past. Maybe not quite so explicitly, but the dancing, drinking, gambling priest trope we've had a number of times. And this one is also a full-on lecture as well.
Oh yes, he's not a good person, and in a sense, the priest getting taken down is sort of collateral damage. It's Akercock going, well, you clearly deserve a beating as well. So it's interesting how that's sort of staged. Eric.
Yeah, we've had priests being beaten in like Robin and the Friar as well, and sort of what was it? The other one. I think it was one of the Tarleton joke ones where sort of or I'm not sure, something about a priest being dressing up as an angel to sleep with someone's wife, something.
Oh yes, and that's linking in with much earlier stories from Italy as well and things like that.
And as for lecherous priests, we had one in Misogynist. So yeah, I mean they're all over the place. Yeah. And also in John, Sir John, and Tibbet or something.
John, his wife Tib, and Sir John the priest. Yes.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of how many Johns are in that title.
Yeah, it's a very bad title.
Yeah.
Yes. But, he vaguely gets beaten. He certainly gets forced out of the house with the woman he's having an affair with. Bringing up the Robin Hood play, actually, those short Robin Hood plays. This feels like a set piece Robin Hood play. It's like you turn up, you have a fight, and then you go away again, and it's got that energy to it. So let us move on. We're going back to the A plot. Fingers crossed. It was on the up. Let's see if we can maintain that upness. Act 4, Scene 2. Enter Dunstan with Earl Lacy sick.
Let not your sickness add more feebleness unto your weakened age. But give me leave to cure thy vain suspicious malady. Thy eyes shall witness how thou art deceived, misprizing thy fair lady's chastity. But whilst we two stand closely here unseen, we shall espy them presently approach.
Oh, show me this, thou blessed man of God, and thou shalt then make young my withered age.
Mark the beginning, for here Musgrave cometh.
Enter Musgrave.
Oh, thrice unhappy and unfortunate that, having fit occasion preferred thee of conference with Buteus Honorea, thou overslipped it and o'erslippedst thyself. Never since wedlock tied her to the Earl have I saluted her, although report is blazed abroad of her inconstancy. This is her evening walk, and here will I attend her coming forth and greet her fairly.
See, Dunstan, how their youth doth blind our age? Thou dost deceive thyself, and bringest me to see my proper shame and infamy.
Enter Honorea.
But here she comes, my hope, my fear, my love.
Here comes the unstained honour of thy bed. Thy ears shall hear her virtuous, chaste replies, and make thy heart confess thou dost her wrong.
Now, modest love, have banished wanton thoughts, and altered me from that I was before. To that chaste life I ought to entertain. My heart is tied to that strict form of life, that I joy only to be Lacy's wife.
God, fill thy mind with these chaste, virtuous thoughts.
Oh, now I see her. I am half ashamed of so long absence, of neglect of speech. My dearest lady, patroness of beauty, let thy poor servant make his true excuse.
Musgrave, I easily take your excuse, accusing my fond self for what is past.
Long time we wanted opportunity, but now the forelock of well-wishing time hath blessed us both, that here without suspect we may renew the tenor of our loves.
Oh, Dunstan, how she smiles to hear him speak.
No child of fortune and inconstancy, thou shalt not train me or induce my love to loose desires or dishonoured thoughts. 'Tis God's own work that struck a deep remorse into my tainted heart for my past folly.
Oh, thou confoundest me. Speak as thou wert wont, like love herself, my lovely Honorea.
Why, how now, Musgrave, what seems thou me that thou provokest me that first denied me? I will not yield you reasons why I may not, more than your own. You told me why you would not.
By heavens, by thee, my saint, my happiness, no torture shall control my heart in this, to teach my tongue deny to call thee love.
Well, in regard that in my maiden days I loved thee well, now let me counsel thee. Reclaim these idle humours, know thyself, remember me, and think upon my lord. And let these thoughts bring forth those chaste effects, which may declare thy change unto the world. And this assure thee, while I breathe this air, Earl Lacy's honour I will ne'er impair. Exit Honorea.
Now your eyes see that which your heart believed not.
'Tis a miracle beyond the reach of my capacity. I could weep for joy. Would but my tears express how much I love her. Men may surmise amiss in jealousy of those that live in untouched honesty.
She departed, and do I conceive this height of grief, and do no violence unto myself? Said she I denied her. Far be it from my heart to think that thought. All ye that, as I do, have felt this smart, ye know how burdensome 'tis at my heart. Hereafter never will I prosecute this former motion, my unlawful suit. But since she is Earl Lacy's virtuous wife, I'll live a private, pensive, single life.
Exit
Oh.
Musgrave.
God doth dispose all at his blessed will, and he hath changed their minds from bad to good. That which we see it may learn to mend ourselves.
I'll reconcile myself to Musgrave's love. I will recant my false suspicion and humbly make my true submission.
And they exit, going to the other side of the A-plot. Act 4, Scene 3. Enter Marian chafing. Say'st thou'lt make the house too hot for me? I'll soon abroad and call me in the air. I'll teach him never scorn to drink his health, whom I do love. He thinks to overcrow me with words and blows, but he is in the wrong. When he begin he when he dares. Oh, he's too hot and angry to live long with Marian. But I'll not long be subject to his rage. Here 'tis shall rid him of his hateful life, and bless me with the style of widowhood. 'Tis Harvey's work to temper it so well, the strongest poison that he could devise. Enter Clinton. I have been too long subject to the slave, but now I'll cast off that detested yoke.
Musgrave, I see, is reconciled to the Earl, for now I met him walking with Lord Lacy. Sure this is Marian's plot, and there she stands. What, love? Alone?
I kept him much disturbed about the frantic doctor's jealousy, who, though he seemed content when thou wast here, he after fell reviling thee and me, robbed me of all my jewels, locks his plate in his own trunk, and only lets me only live to bear the idle title of his wife.
Fair Marian, by a soldier's loyal faith, if my employment any way may help to set thee free from this captivity, use me in any sort. Command my sword. I'll do it as soon as thou shalt speak the word.
Now, by my true love, which I wish to thee, to conjure thee with resolution, to slay that monster, do not fail to do it, for if thou dost, I would I had not spoke it.
Now try me, and when next we hap to meet, the doctor lies stone dead at Clinton's feet.
Nay, now I see thou lovest me.
Say no more. If thou dost loathe him, he shall die, therefore.
Tomorrow morning will he early rise, to see Earl Lacy meet him in the cloister, and make that place revenge his sanctuary. This night will I break open all the trunks, rifle his caskets, rob him of his gold, and all the doctor's treasure shall be thine. If thou miscarry, yet this drink shall do it. Enter the husband Belphegor.
My wife's impatience hath left me alone, made my servant run, I don't know whither.
Peace, here is our eyesore. Clinton, leave us now.
Nay, now occasion smiles, and I will do it.
Clinton draweth his sword. Put up thy sword, be it thy morning's work. Farewell tonight, but fail me not tomorrow.
Farewell, my love. No rest shall close these eyes until the morning peeps, and then he dies.
Exit Clinton.
Now I remember. I have quite outrun my time prefixed to dwell upon the earth. Yet Akercock is absent. Where is he? Oh, I'm glad I'm so well near rid of my earth's plague and my lascivious dame.
Hath he discovered my intendment that he presages his ensuing death? I must break off these fearful meditations.
How shall I give my verdict up to Pluto of all these accidents?
Why, how now, man?
What, my dear dame, my reconciled spouse? Upon my soul, my love to thee is more now at this present than 'twas e'er before.
He have described me sure, he sootheth me so.
I love thee now, because now I must leave thee. This was the day of my nativity, and therefore, sweet wife, let us rebel it.
Nay, I have a little cause to joy at all.
Thou grossest still my mirth with discontents. If ever heretofore I have displeased thee, sweet dame, I crave thy pardon now for all. This is my birthday, girl, I must rejoice. Ask what thou wilt, and I will give it thee.
Should I but ask to leave a quiet life, you hardly would grant this unto your wife, much less a thing that were of more import.
Ask anything, and I'll try if I deny thee.
Oh, my poor Musgrave, how hast thou been wronged, and my fair lady?
Use no preambles, but tell me plainly.
Nay, remember then, and join their slander to that love you owe me, and then old Lacy's jealousy.
What then?
Nay, now, I see you will not understand me.
Thou art too dark. Speak plainly. And 'tis done.
Then doom the Earl, and bless poor Musgrave's eyes with Honorea's love, for this in thy hands lies.
How should I doom him?
How else but to death?
As if his life or death lay in my hands?
He is thy patient, is he not?
He is.
Then in thy hands lie both his life and death. Sweet love, let Marian beg it at thy hand. Why should the greybeard live to cross us all? Nay, now I see thee frown. Thou wilt not do it.
Fie, dame, yeah, you are too suspicious. Here is my hand, that thou mayst know I love thee. I'll poison him this night before I sleep.
Thou dost but flatter me.
Hush, I have sworn.
And wilt thou do it?
He is sure to die.
I'll kiss thy lips for speaking that kind word, but do it, and I'll hang about thy neck, and curl thy hair, and sleep betwixt thy arms, and teach thee pleasures which thou never knewst.
Promise no more, and trouble me no more. The longer I stay here, he lives the longer. I must go to him now, and now I'll do it. Go home, hasten supper against I come. We will carouse to his departing soul.
I will, dear husband, but remember me. When thou hast poisoned him, I'll poison thee. Exit Marian.
Oh, wonderful, how women can dissemble. Now she can kiss me, hang around my neck, and soothe me with smooth smiles and lewd entreaties. Well, I promised her to kill the Earl, and yet I hope he will not think I'll do it. Yet I will sound the depth of their device and see the issue of their bloody drift. I'll give the Earl, unknown to any man, a sleeping potion, which shall make him seem as he were stark dead, for certain hours. But in my absence, no man shall report that for my dame's sake I did any hurt.
And exit Belphegor. Okay, this is improving. I'm liking killing off characters that I don't like. I'm disappointed that Belphegor might just substitute a sleeping draught for poison, but I quite like the idea of poisoning Lacy. I'm up for that. There's nothing like some of these plots where to be improved by the possibility of murder. Slightly problematic how Marian just sort of goes straight for murderiness, but I'm sort of gonna go with that for the moment. I like Belphegor just going, oh bugger, I've got to go back to hell in 5 minutes. And there. It's like, oh, hang on, what time is it? Oh, a year's passed. Oh dear. So that's quite nice. So, is this play going to somehow turn a corner and make me go, this is salvageable? From last time where we were going, no, and now going, okay, maybe. I don't know yet. We're not at the end. There's still time for it to totally fudge it. Alan, then Briony.
Yeah, I mean, we did get the payoff there for that earlier scene, which we were confused about, the devil disguised as Musgrave. Because I think the gag was that she thinks Musgrave has basically said, no, I'm not going to come near you, and forswore her company. And then the real Musgrave turns up and starts trying the wooing bit.
Yeah, all overseen. So is it that Dunstan conjured this thing up earlier to set up this scene, because this is a constancy test that we've got here that Dunstan has arranged, so that could be a thing. Who's next? I had someone else to go to next. Briony, then Lynn. That was it.
I forgot then. I like that she's got a very good contingency plan here. We've encountered other murders not so well thought out, and I just like that it's quite solid. If she can't rely on the man to do it, she's got a way of dealing with it herself.
Yeah, I do like the fact that you could do the physical murderiness, but I've got poison as a backup. It's good. Belt and braces thinking. Lynn.
Braces. It's a clothes joke. Yeah, I don't know about Marian, because like this what her character ends up being there wasn't really any way to signal that in the beginning, that she's violent, she's angry, she's kind of amoral. I mean, that's an all right way of being in the world, but I didn't get that from her in her first appearance. I mean, that could be kind of funny, that she just doesn't care. She just wants what she wants, and she's just going to do what she has to do to get it. She wants her, Honorea is her friend, so it's like or her mistress, and it's like, I'm going to get her what I think she wants by killing off her husband. Don't care. I got a couple of boyfriends. Don't care. But it's like I didn't see that coming. So I just find that really troubling.
I think there are. I mean, it's not massively signposted earlier, but there is a certain reserve with Marian earlier on that I think it can be turned in performance. I think there's enough there. But I think you're right. I mean, we've got the problem that none of these characters are exactly deep. It's not a long play. There isn't that much time to go into motivations. There's an awful lot of stuff that's happening for reasons. But yeah, I mean, it's not, as I say, unproblematic. But I do like the idea of going a bit murdery. It always improves these kind of these problems with the text of killing off some of the bastards. I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, Eric.
I like how Belphegor comes in, probably like checking his watch, going, "Oh shit, I have to go. The bus is coming in a few minutes," and knowing buses, they will always be late. Anyway, but also kind of the
replacement bus service to hell is really 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 bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But also kind of like Marian tells him about like killing this Earl, but then he doesn't go for the murder. I mean, usually it's the other way around. Like the vice character / demon, devil, whatever, is trying to push like the other person to, do sort of some what do you call it? Something bad, something criminal, whatever. But then she's the one encouraging him, and he's like, yeah, totally, I'll totally do it. I won't do it. And he's kind of worrying about his reputation.
I think it's partly to do with the hell test thing. It's because the argument in hell the other day, which many of the room weren't here for. The idea is that a man can get off essentially a sentence in hell by saying that he was driven to it by somebody else, specifically his wife, which is sort of the misogynistic underlay of this text. And Belphegor is going, well, I'm not going to let anyone say my wife drove me to do anything, because then I can, perhaps win, or not. So it might be a sort of control element of the test that he's trying not to let it go one way or the other. I'm not sure. That might be a rationalization, or it might not be there. I'm not sure which. Anyway, we should return to the other plot line, because we're on much firmer ground there, he said. Fingers crossed. Please don't go wrong. Act 5. Oh, Eric, yes.
Just quickly, I was going to say that this is a very quick play. We've already done like 2 acts in I don't know, however, barely an hour.
We're cramming a bit more in than we normally would. It's a small room, so we can get through stuff quicker because there aren't as many opinions in the room. It is slightly longer than we do over 2 sessions, but it's not a long play. It doesn't hang around. So, yeah. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Grim with Joan.
Nay, but Joan, have a care. Bear a brain for all at once. 'Tis not 1 hour's pleasure that I suspect more than your mother's good countenance. If she be asleep, we may be bold under correction. If she be awake, I may go my ways, and nobody ask me, Grim, whither goest thou? Nay, I tell you, I am so well beloved in our town that not the worst dog in the street will hurt my little finger.
Why speak you this? You need not fear my mother. She was fast asleep 4 hours ago.
Is she sure? Did you hear her snort in her dead sleep? Why then, Joan, I have an hour's mirth for thee.
And I a mess of cream for thee.
Why, there is one for another then. Fetch it, Joan. We will eat and kiss and be as merry as your cricket.
Exit Joan for the cream.
Art thou gone for it? Well, go thy ways for the kindest lass that ever poor Collier met withal. I mean for to make short work with her and marry her presently. I'll single her out, i' faith, till I make her bear double, and give the world to understand we will have a young Grim between us.
Look here, my love, 'tis sweetened for thy mouth.
You have put none of your love powder in it, to make me enamorable of you, have you, Joan? I have a simple pate to expect you.
And one knocketh at the door.
Joan, hark, my brains beat, my head works, and my mind giveth me. Some lovers of yours come sneaking hither now. I like it not. 'Tis suspicious.
One knocketh again.
You need not fear it, for there is none alive shall bear the least part of my heart from thee.
Sayest thou so? Hold there still, and whoe'er he be, open door to him.
And she openeth the door. Enter Shorthose and Robin after him.
What, Master Parson, are you come so late? You are welcome. Here's none but Grim and I.
Joan, I'll no more a nutting go. I was so beaten to and fro. And yet who it was, I do not know.
What, Master Parson, are you come so late to say evening song to your parishioners? I have heard of your knavery. I give you a fair warning. Touch her no lower than her girdle, and no higher than her chin. I keep her lips and her hips for my own use. I do, and so welcome.
This 2 hours have I dogged the parson round about all Croydon, doubting some such thing.
No, Grim, I here forswear to touch thy Joan, or any other such love hath been so cudgelled out of me. I'll go no more to wood with thee.
'Twas Robin beat this holy mind into him. I think more cudgelling would make him more honest.
You speak like an honest man and a good parson, and that is more. Here's Joan's benevolation for us, a mess of cream and so forth. Here is your place, Master Parson. Stand on the other side of the table, Joan. Eat hard tonight, that thou may marry us the better tomorrow.
What, is my brother Grim so good a fellow?
They fall to the cream.
I love a mess of cream as well as they. I think it were best I stepped in and made one. Ha ha ha, my masters, no good fellowship. Is Robin Goodfellow a bugbear grown?
Robin falleth to eat.
That he is not worthy to be bid sit down?
Oh, Lord, save us! Sure he is some country devil. He hath got a russet coat upon his face.
Grim and Shorthose retire to the back of the stage.
Now, benedicite. Who is this? I take him for some fiend, I wis. For some holy water here of this same place the spirit to clear.
Nay, fear not, Grim. Come, fall unto your cream. Tut, I am thy friend. Why dost not come and eat?
I, sir? Truly, Master Devil, I am well here, I thank you.
I'll have thee come, I say. Why tremblest thou?
No, sir, not I. 'Tis a palsy I have still. Truly, sir, I have no great acquaintance with you.
Thou shalt have better, man, ere I depart.
I will not, and if I can choose.
Nay, come away and bring your love with you.
Joan, you had best go to him, Joan.
What, shall I fetch thee, man? The cream is sweet.
No, sir, I am coming. Much good do it you. I had need of a long spoon. Now I go to eat with the devil.
The parson's penance shall be thus to fast. Come, tell me, Grim, dost thou not know me, man?
No, truly, sir, I am a poor man fetcheth my living out of the fire. Your worship may be a gentleman devil for aught I know.
Some men call me Robin Goodfellow.
Oh, Lord, sir! Master Robert Goodfellow, you are very welcome, sir.
This half year have I lived about this town, helping poor servants to dispatch their work, to brew and bake and other husbandry. Tut, fear not, maid. If Grim be merry, I will make up the match between you.
There will be a match in the devil's name.
Well, now the night is almost spent, since your affections are all bent to marriage and to constant love, Grim, Robin doth thy choice approve. And there's the priest shall marry you. Go to it, and make no more ado. Sirrah, Sir Priest, go, get you gone, and join both her and him anon. But ne'er hereafter let me take you with wanton love tricks, lest I make you example to all stone priests ever, to deal with other men's loves never.
Valetable, and God bless me, and rid me from his company. Come, Grim, I'll join you hand in hand, in sacred wedlock's holy band. I will no more a nutting go, that journey caused all this woe.
Come, let's to hand in hand quickly. Master Robert, you were ever one of the honestest merry devils that ever I saw.
Sweet Grim, and if thou lovest me, let's away.
Nay, now, Joan, I spy a hole in your coat. If you cannot endure the devil, you'll never love the collier. Why, we two are sworn brothers. You shall see me talk with him even as familiarly as if I should break my mind and my whole stomach upon thee.
I prithee do not, Grim.
Who? Not I? Oh Lord, Master Robert Goodfellow, I have a poor cottage at home, whither Joan and I will jog us merrily. We will make you no stranger if you come thither. You shall be used as devilishly as you would wish, if faith. There is never a time my card cometh from London, but the collier bringeth a goose in his sack, and that with the giblets thereof is at your service.
This is more kindness, Grim, than I expected.
Nay, sir, if you come home, you shall find it true, I warrant you. All my whole family shall be at your devilship's pleasure, except my poor Joan here, as she is my own proper night gear.
Gramercies, but away in haste. The night is almost spent and past.
God be with you, sir. I'll make as much haste about it as may be, for, and that were once done, I would begin a new piece of work with you, Joan.
Exeunt all except for Robin.
Now joy betide this merry morn, and keep Grim's forehead from the horn, for Robin bids his last adieu to Grim and all the rest of you.
Exit Robin. So we'll just briefly pause on this. So yeah, it's a relatively simple sort of reconciliation scene of yeah, they're going to sit down and have some cream, and Robin turns up and gets some cream, but everyone's a bit afraid of him at first because it's like, where the hell did that come from? Scary magical creature. Briony.
This is where this kind of moral stuff really ties itself in knots and loses me a bit. Why would a devil be wanting a priest to act more holy? What?
Yeah.
What sort of ridiculous logic is that?
Well, in a sense, you know, this sort of demon world of this is a bit muddled. It's not explicitly Christian. Remember, all these demons are coming from a sort of pagan underworld as well. So it's a bit, and Robin in this context is just a sort of prixie sprite thing that, yeah, he's playing a game a bit, and yeah. I don't know how moral this really is, actually. Anyway, Lynn.
Yeah, it's very muddled because we do have we have Saint Dunstan, and we talk about the devil. I mean, they use some Christian vocabulary, but it begins in sort of the classical pagan setting in Hades with Pluto, and then Akercock sort of morphs into you know, a northern or Celtic traditional pre-Christian sprite. So we have like two different pagan traditions and then a little bit of Christianity mixed in. It's really muddled.
But I don't think the play cares.
No. Good point.
Yeah, and all this cream supping. I mean, there's something really weird about it. I think there's huge potential there. I don't know what it is, but I think workshopping just creamy lips. I don't know. There's something there. But anyway, we're going to go on because we still have the close of the play to go. I'm going to say, Briony, could you be Marian for the duration going forward? And I'll stick with Honorea, and I think that uses us all up efficiently. Act 5, Scene 2, enter Clinton alone.
Sword. Bright Lucifer, go couch thee in the clouds, and let this morning prove as dark as night, that I, unseen, may bring to happy end the doctor's murder, which I do intend. 'Tis early yet, he is not so soon stirring, but stir he ne'er so soon he dies. I'll walk along before the palace gate, that shall I know, then shall I know how near 'tis today. He shall have no means to escape away.
Exit Clinton, enter Belphegor.
My trunks broke open and my jewels gone, my golden treasure stolen, my house despoiled of all my furniture, and nothing left? No, not my wife, for she's stolen away, but she hath peppered me, I feel it work. My teeth are loosened and my belly swelled, my entrails burned with such distempered heat. That well I know my dame hath poisoned me. When she spoke Freitas, then she did this act. When I have spoken all I can imagine, I cannot utter half that she intends. She makes as little poisoning of a man as to carouse. I feel that this is true.
And enter Clinton.
Nay, I know too much of womankind. Soon, here's the captain. What should he make here with his sword drawn? There's yet more villainy.
Morning is far spent, and yet he comes not. I wonder Marian sent him not abroad. Well, doctor, linger time and linger life, for long thou shalt not breathe upon the earth.
No, no, I will not live amongst you long. He said, For me thou waitest, thou bloody wretch, her poison hath prevented thee in murder.
Enter Earl Morgan, St. Dunstan, with Honorea, fainting, and Marian.
Now here be they, suppose Earl Lacy dead. See how this lady grieveth for that she wisheth.
My lord of London, by his sudden death, and all the signs before his late departure, 'tis very probable that he is poisoned.
Do you but doubt it? Credit me, my lord. I heard him say that drink should be his last. I heard my husband speak it, and he did it.
There is my old friend, she always speaks for me. Oh, shameless creature, was it not thy device?
Let not extremity of grief o'erwhelm thee, my dearest Honorea, for his death shall be surely revenged with all severity upon the doctor, and that suddenly.
What fortune's this, that all these come this way to hinder me and save thy life today?
My gracious lord, this doleful accident hath robbed me of my joy and royal earl. Though in my life thou didst suspect my love, my grief and tears suspicions shall remove.
Madam, to you and to your father's love I owe as much and more than my own life. Had I 10 husbands should agree to do it, my gracious lord, you presently should know it.
Aye, there's a girl. Think you I did not well to live with such a wife to come from hell?
Look, my lord, there stands the murderer.
How I am round beset on every side. First, that same captain here stands to kill me. My dame, she hath already poisoned me. Earl Morgan, he doth threaten present death. The Countess Honorea, in revenge of Lacy, is extremely incensed against me. All threaten, none shall do it, for my date is now expired, and I must back to hell. Now, my servant, wheresoever thou be, come quickly. Akercock, and follow me. Lordings, adieu, and my cursed wife, farewell. If me ye seek, come follow me to hell.
And the ground opens, and Belphegor and Akercock both fall down into it.
The earth that opened now is closed again.
It is God's judgment for his grievous sins.
Was there a quagmire that he sang so soon?
Oh, miracle! Now may we justly say heavens have revenged my husband's death this day.
Alas, poor Marian, we have wronged thee much to cause thee match thyself to any such.
Nay, let him go and sink into the ground, for such as he are better lost than found. Now, Honorea, we are freed from blame, and both enriched with happy widow's name.
Enter Earl Lacy, etc.
Oh, lead me quickly to that morning train, which weep for me, who am revived again.
I wonder who the on is.
Someone.
Honorea, probably.
Yeah. Marian, I shed some tears of perfect grief. She falleth into a swoon.
Do not my eyes deceive me? Liveth my son?
My lord and father, both alive and well, recovered of my weakness. Where's my wife?
Here is my lady, your beloved wife, half dead to hear of your untimely end.
Look on me, Honorea, see thy lord. I am not dead, but live to love thee still.
'Tis God disposeth all things as he will. He raiseth those the wicked wish to fall.
Zoons, I'll watch on this enclosed ground, for if he rise again, I'll murder him.
My lord, my tongue's not able to report those joys my heart conceives to see thee live.
Give God the glory, he recovered thee, and wrought this judgment on that cursed man that set debate and strife among ye all.
My lord, our eyes have seen a miracle, which after ages ever shall admire. The Spanish doctor, standing here before us, is sunk into the bowels of the earth, ending his vile life by a viler death.
But, gentle Marian, I bewail thy loss. Thou wert maid, wife, and widow, all so soon.
'Tis your recovery that joys me more than grief can touch me for the doctor's death. He never loved me whilst he lived with me, therefore the less I mourn his tragedy.
Henceforth we'll strictlier look into stranger to strangers' lives, how they shall marry any English wives. Now all men shall record this fatal day, Lacy revived, the doctor sunk in clay.
The trumpets sound. Exeunt omnes except for Dunstan.
Now is Earl Lacy's house filled full of joy. He and his lady wholly reconciled, their jars all ended. Those that were like men, transformed, turned into their shapes again. And gentlemen, before we make an end, a little longer let your patience lend, that in your friendly censures you may see what the infernal synod do decree, and after judge if we deserve to name this play of ours, the devil and his dame.
Exit Dunstan. Epilogue. It thunders and lighteneth. Enter Pluto, Minos, Akercock, Rhadamanthus with furies, bringing in Malbeco's ghost.
Minos, is this the day he should return and bring us tidings of his 12 months spent?
Enter Belphegor, like a devil with horns on his head, and Akercock.
It is, great king, and here Belphegor comes.
His visage is more ghastly than 'twas wont. What ornaments are those upon his head?
Hell, I salute thee. Now I feel myself rid of 1,000 torments. O vile earth, worse for us devils than hell itself for man. Dread Pluto, hear thy subjects' just complaint.
And Belphegor kneeleth to Pluto.
Proceeding from the anguish of my soul, O never send me more into the earth, for there dwells dread and horror more than here.
Stand forth, Belphegor, and report the truth of all the things that have betid thee in the world.
When first, great king, I came into the earth, I chose a wife both young and beautiful, the only daughter to a noble earl. But when the night came that I should her bed, I found another laid there in her stead. And in the morning, when I found the change, though I denied her, I was forced to take her. With her I lived in such a mild estate, used her kindly, loved her tenderly, which she requited with such light regard, so loose demeanor and dishonest life, that she was each man's whore that was my wife. No hours but gallants flocked into my house, such as she fancied for her loathsome lust, with whom, before my face, she did not spare to play the strumpet. Yea, and more than this, she made my house a stew for all resorts, herself abhorred to others' filthiness, which, if I once began but to reprove, then her tongue was worse than all the rest. No ears with patience would endure to hear her, nor would she ever cease till I submitted. And then she'd speak me fair, but wish me dead. 100 drifts she laid to cut me off, still drawing me to dangers of my life. And now my 12-month being near expired, she poisoned me, and least that means I should fall. She poisoned me, and least that means should fail. She enticed the captain to murder me. In brief, whatever tongue can be tell of ill, all that may well be spoken of my dame.
Poor Akercock was fain to fly her sight, for never an hour but she laid on me, her tongue and fist walked so nimbly.
Doth then, Belphegor, this report of thine against all women hold in general?
Not so, great prince, for as amongst other creatures under that sex are mingled good and bad, there are some women virtuous, chaste, and true, and to those the devil will give their due. But my dame born to scourge a man, for no mortality would I endure that, which she hath 1,000 times hath offered me.
But what new shapes are those upon thy head?
These are the ancient arms of cuckoldry, and these my dame hath kindly left to me, for which Belphegor shall here be derided, unless your great infernal majesty shall do solemnly proclaim, no devil shall scorn hereafter still to wear the goodly horn.
This for thy service I will grant thee freely. All devils shall, as thou dost, like horns wear, and none shall scorn Belphegor's arms to bear. And now, Malbeco, hear thy latest doom. since that thy first reports are justified by after proofs, and women's looseness known, one plague more I will send upon the earth. Thou shalt assume a light and fiery shape, and so for every life within the world, so forever live within the world. Dive into women's thoughts, into men's hearts, raise up false rumors and suspicious fears, put strange inventions in each man's mind. And all these actions and for these actions they shall always call thee by no name else but fearful jealousy. Go, jealousy, be gone. Thou hast thy charge. Go range about the world that is so large. And now for joy, Belphegor is returned. The furies shall their tortures cast away, and all hell o'er will make it holiday.
It thundereth and lighteneth, everybody exits. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the devils got their horns. So it's almost like it's a Shaggy Dog story at the very end there of just saying, that's why demons have horns. At the beginning of the play, demons don't have horns, so they can't have horns. That's not the joke. That's the gag. That's the punchline. It's doing. Why didn't Lacy just die? I really wanted Lacy to just die. That would have that would have been fine. Blame the murder on the person who's died. That I liked. I thought that was really nice, having poisoned the devil. But yeah, I don't like the constancy Honorea element of the plot. I'm really not down with that. I'm sort of fine with the Marian side of that plot line. That's kind of fine. And I like Grim. Grim is, I've got a nice little 5-hander now for Grim. That's got fighting and room for some additional Robin Goodfellow stuff from other sources. That makes me happy. There's lots of things that can be done with this, actually, and it almost turns it around at the end without adaptation. Almost. Not quite, though. Not quite. Alan, then Lynn.
Well, I think what we've seen today is the A plot did improve slightly, but where it started, that wasn't that much of a feat to achieve. And I found the B plot considerably less engaging in the second half than I did in the first half.
Well, the B plot in the second half was much more the physical action stuff going on in the room than what people were saying. I mean, it's, all the cream stuff and the stuff with Robin there. That's very much, that feels like something that needs to be workshopped and played with. I think there's something there. I just don't think the text is quite giving us everything there. I think there's, but it's a reconciliation immediately after a fight scene, so it's sort of fine for me. It's a very slight plot. There's only 4 scenes of the entire Grimm plot. It's 4 scenes. There's so little there.
It all felt a bit too panto.
I think that's his level, the Grimm side. The rest of it, more confused. Lynn.
Yeah, I felt like the Grimm plot I was really charmed by it, but there just wasn't enough of it. It's not very well balanced just in terms of like stage time. So so much weird stuff going on here. I mean, I kind of like the fact that Marian she's kind of awful, she's kind of evil-tempered and unnecessarily violent with her servants and murdery, and she just gets away with it. It's just like, oh, Earl Lacy, I'm so glad you're okay. And nobody calls her on it, So I don't know. I kind of love that. But yeah, Lacy married this basically decent woman who did not love him under false pretenses, and he gets away with it too. And I think we're supposed to be okay with that.
It's connecting with that moral conclusion that we get in the epilogue of that some women are chaste, and this is the example we're going with. And I'm going, we could have found a better example of that if you wanted to do that.
And Honorea's conversion is neither persuasive nor satisfying.
Yeah.
So that's a little problematic. And the fact that we have this last scene, it's like it turns out it's all an etiology for why devils have horns and the fact that there's jealousy in the world. And the big revelation is that some women are good and some women not so much. I mean, that's a little, that's a little anticlimactic.
Oh yeah, but just, let's be honest, it could have been so much worse, couldn't it? I mean, frankly, that was a blessed relief. That was it, because it could have been really awful. And you know, it just turned out to be I'm taking anticlimactic as a win. Okay, we're into extra time. Final thoughts from around the room. This is not. Final thoughts. This is not as awful as I thought it was going to be. There is something that can be done with this. It's not very high on the list, but there is actually enough material here. I think kill Lacy, and actually, I'm sort of, I could frame it right. You could get away with this. I like Grimm as a random 20-minute show. I don't think it's even any longer than 20 minutes. I think it's a random. It's like the Robin Hood shorts. I think it's something you do outside for the kids, and it's silly and fun, and that works quite nicely. And I like that. And then there's just detachable scenes. It's full of good scenes, actually. And once we get into the cuckolding scene in isolation, I think actually that could be taken away and put in a part of a show to do with sort of love and cuckolding and themes. And yeah, there is potential here, but I think there's a lot of work to be done to disentangle some of it. Unadjusted, less so. But you know, maybe in the right context we could get away with it. I don't know. So yeah, final thoughts from around the room. Elizabeth, you've only been here for this session, so you've sort of leapt in to the second half. There was a train delay. You couldn't get there before the interval. Yeah.
I don't think that it does the play I think it does the play a disservice to only watch the last half of it and then to kind of make a judgment on it. I found that Grimm wasn't in it as much as I wanted him to be. I feel like it should have been called The Devil and His Dame rather than Grimm the Collier of Croydon. I don't know, maybe the writer wanted to sell this Collier of Croydon character to his audience. I liked the reading of it that we did today. I think that the actors gave it more life than it had in it. I feel like the readers gave it more life and more oomph than was in the actual script itself. So this one kind of left me feeling a bit uninspired.
I think originally it was called The Devil and His Dame. What I suspect is actually during its lifetime, the actors made Grimm the Collier of Croydon the thing that the audience remembered. You know, it's that thing of it's always the minor comic subplot that people go away. God, the bit when he was beaten by Robin Goodfellow. It's so funny, that bit, and they remember nothing else. And that I think is what's happened here with its titling. I think originally there might be actually evidence that it was known as The Devil and His Dame as its original title. So yeah, when subplots attack. That's what happens. Lynn, any final thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting here thinking, something might be done with the kind of moral ambiguity that seems to appear now that we see this in total. The fact that hell is kind of hell, but it's not really. We have, the character of Marian, who is basically really disagreeable and amoral, and she gets away with it in the end. And Belphegor, his sidekick, Aker and / Robin Goodfellow. He's kind of a devil, but he's kind of not, and he helps the character we like to get what he wants. So he actually, does good in the world. Even though he's a devil, so there's this very significant blurring between good and evil and people getting and not getting what they deserve. And I think something really interesting might be done with that. I think you could make the moral ambiguousness the point. I am not skillful enough a dramaturg to see a way to do that. But I think there's potential there to use this text to send that message.
Yeah, I think so too. I like that. Eric, any final thoughts?
I kind of want to turn this into like a really sort of what's it called? I mean, okay, I wasn't here for the first session, so I don't know how terrible the A plot was. But I kind of want to turn this into like a really bad James Bond spoof where you've got like Belphegor and Akercock being sort of like the agents of hell on Earth, and like with really crap gadgets and stuff. Sort of, I don't know, just because the last scene reads like a debrief, basically. It's sort of like after a mission, and it's just like, I mean, the content is not ideal. Obviously, it's sub ideal actually, or whatever you want to call it. But I kind of like the idea that you can just tweak a few parts and modernize it, and then just turn it into that. Obviously, you would have to murder Lacy either by accident or on purpose. Just sort of, he fell into a well or something. But yeah, I don't know. I like the idea of making this like a bad spoof of something.
Yeah, I think basically the problem with the play that really takes it in the first half, which we weren't here for, is the bed trick scene. If it was like they'd got set up in Vegas and they secretly married them to the wrong person, and it didn't involve the exchange of sexual favors under false pretenses, then actually the play is instantly much more palatable. I mean, it has an underlying misogyny going underneath the surface, but it's that scene that just makes you go, no, that is trauma. We cannot have that in a comedy. And if we could find a way of changing how they end up getting married, I think that solves a really big problem. If Dunstan does some magic ta-da, and in that at the end, and Dunstan just does a quick annulment, then suddenly the play is much less of a problem. That's where we really hit the buffers in the first half, was just going, no, that is a really horrible thing to do, and that does not belong in a comedy. So yeah, that's the big issue with the A plot. Alan, any final thoughts?
I think you may have some bits of material here that could work in other contexts. I think to actually try and rework this into any sort of show in its own right would require so much work that game probably wouldn't be worth the candle. The one thought I had going through it is that I think you would have to stage it in such a way that the two demonic figures are only visible when they choose to be visible. Because certainly the beginning of the food fight sequence, Akercock is not actually perceived by the other characters until he chooses to come forward. And I think there are a very significant number of appearances by the senior devil, which are asides or from the wings or from a non-visible to the other characters on stage.
Oh yes, absolutely, yes. I don't think it's magical non-appearance from Belphegor, though. I think he's just hiding behind a bush. Because there is that, but you're absolutely right. He's not visible. I think it's only when Akercock leaves the A plot that he's actually allowed magical powers. It's important that demons have no powers while on Earth. So it cheats that. Akercock is sort of cheats from the second half, which is sort of ruins the conceit a bit. Eric.
Yeah, also in the sort of beating up the Miller sequence, it's kind of unclear. Well, it looks like the way it's read, or at least the way we read it, it has that sort of what's called like Akercock has actually done the beating up of the Miller, but then Grimm thinks that it's himself or something like that. It's not entirely clear. So
Three Stooges movie.
Yeah, and that's again, it's Akercock at that point onwards is doing invisible stuff. So I think you're right. It needs to be signposted more and really clear that Akercock, Robin Goodfellow, is doing magic because because he is, as I say, taking down the parson and the parson doesn't know who's doing it. Nobody knows who's doing it, and it's like it's all by accident. Nice options. Liking that. Rachael, any final thoughts?
I really liked the B plot. The A plot, it just never won me back, from what it was yesterday. I think like you could do something with the B plot, like the way Adult Swim does really weird programming, like not just milk mustaches, but just end the whole thing where they just have big bowls of cream and they're drinking them. And it's just like, if you had this outside in the middle of summer, you don't have to do like real cream, but it's just like so disgusting for an audience to see that it actually becomes funny. And like the when they go a nutting, like they're hitting each other with their nut bags. So just a little funny in its own way. And I mean, you could play with the size of them too, and how much there's going on, or if they're spilling everywhere or something like that. You could have, I don't know, an audience. If instead of nuts there's candy, you could have some sort of interaction with an audience and they could just pick up candy. I don't know.
I'd like to keep nuts just simply because they go a nutting is a line that's used quite a lot, and I really quite like that because it tickles me. But yeah, all of that, I think absolutely. I mean, there's something about the whole Grimm thing that just feels like outdoor performance much more than within a controlled theatre space. And actually, the prologue sort of addresses that in a weird way as well, about the kind of audience who's watching it. They're explicitly talking about children. And I don't know how many children go to playhouses, actually. That's something I don't know about. And I'm wondering, actually, what the age range potentially for playhousing attendance is. Is this designed for a slightly different audience? So I don't know the answer to that. I can probably find out what data there is on it, but I don't know. Alan and Eric, briefly.
The question of children in the playhouse, was this a children's company?
No, this is the Admiral's Men. Right. I think off the top of my head. Oh, could be wrong there. Could have just made that up. Maybe it is a child. Hang on, let me just look that up. Just possibly talking bollocks there. Eric.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the whole sort of, not the age range, but just sort of, this plot is shady. It doesn't, but I think you would need sort of interaction with the audience. And yeah, the whole going and nutting and all that stuff made me think trick or treat, sort of Halloween time. So that would be a perfect excuse to sort of have people, in costume, doing all sorts of weird shenanigans.
Yeah, it was Admiral's Men at the Rose, so explicitly there. So yes, because that's why we have data on who wrote it and why and things. Briony, final thoughts. You've only been here for this session.
Yeah, it's hard to say, as Elizabeth said, when you've only read half of it, and it does seem a bit unfair. But it's worked quite well today, and obviously we were slightly pre-warned that things weren't so savoury yesterday. But it's functioned all right today, and I can see a lot of potential in this one. When what you just said about the prologue, because obviously I didn't see that, and the children element has just really set my mind reeling, and I kind of thought, well, there's stuff in this that isn't really suitable even for adults to watch, let alone children. And then it made me think of like Punch and Judy, and whether you could do something with puppetry or something to get over some of the really, maybe not the really nasty moments that I missed yesterday, but like the savage beating of a clergyman and things like that, even if he is a bit pervy. It's always more funny with puppets. Maybe that could make it work a bit. I don't know.
Yeah. Excellent. Right. Well, whereas yesterday I was sort of slightly despairing for the play overall and was just focusing on the bit I liked, today there are options. I like options because that gives people options to do different things rather than just moving on. So we've come out in a better place. That makes me happier. All that remains is to thank all the wonderful readers for their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye. I'll clap a claw your jabbernoll.